Everybody.
Some of you get your seats. Mary Zanger, sit down. Mary.
We got it
Queen
right
Mary.
here. Right here, Mary, right here.
We love you, Mary.
I want to say something here to our canvasser.
Yes, let's give Mary a big hand. She's our oldest canvas at 92. Could you believe that?
And Mary's also our honorary president of our group.
Oh, wow. So let's give Mary a big hand. I told Mary, this she said, I'm getting tired. She goes, nope, you wait until you get to 90. Then you'll stop. But anyway, thank you, and we have a nice crowd here today. Thank you, all of you, for coming and supporting our Yes on Cue. And I just want to thank the people who made the food today. Elia, Shelley, and Fallon,
and yourself,
and me.
and we might have missed a few other people. There's and then also the mimosas and
Sally.
Maureen, and the most important thing was the mimosas that we brought. And then we still have a lot of desserts here. And well, anyway, thank you all of you for working so hard, knocking on doors, walking. I know it's a lot of work, but we have to.
So thank you again. We have a beautiful feast. I wanted to thank Phil and Catherine Foster for hosting us. And we also want to thank them for their generosity in sharing their beautiful produce. A lot of our retired teachers who made this feast used the local ingredients, and even I think Laura, who brought a lot of the appetizers, that's very local too, some of the cheeses and salami. So thank you so much, everyone. We really have a real farm-to-table feast featuring the bounty of San Benito and our local region. I want to also introduce and welcome some of our elected officials. We have Mayor Ignacio Velasquez of Hollister. He is a big supporter of Measure Q. And we have Roland Resendez, City Council member from Hollister. We have some planning commissioners who are our supporters, David Huboi, who's also an architect and a talented musician. We'd like to really appreciate him and his band for providing the music very generously. You want to say, it's Rudy, right? And who else is in the band?
And Audubon.
Oh, yes. And I also wanted to mention, we have one more planning commissioner. That's Phil Richway is also a planning commissioner and supporter. We want to recognize, let me know if I miss anyone, Dom Zanger, who is running for supervisor. And he's a big supporter of Measure Q. So some of our members are helping him with canvassing. Wanted to go ahead, we have a really great series of speakers. We have our former Congressman, Sam Farr, for 24 years represented San Benito County. And also, he made Pinnacle as a national park, so it's been a great asset for our community. So thank you for that. And we have a couple of speakers. You know, it's an amazing coincidence when I learned about it. Watsonville also has a Measure Q, and it's very similar. It's a urban growth boundary initiative that they're renewing, and the same concept, which is to let voters decide before farmland, rural lands are rezoned for development. And so it's also a yes on Q. So I wanted to give Sam and Joanne a chance to speak too, but let's hear from Sam Farr first. Please give him a round of applause. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for being my staff member. No, it's really wonderful to come back. I'm not in the political world anymore, but I really enjoy politics and I enjoy campaigns. And I so much love this county. I grew up in Carmel, but my father was a state senator, and I was never going to go into politics. But he was a great dad, and he used to take me all around the district and to see everything. And not that he represented this county, but he would always come over here and go down the airline highway, a name I could never understand. And, you know, I got introduced to the Pinnacles and everything else. So it just became, and then I was in the Peace Corps in Colombia. And when I came back and was driving around, when the hills are green here, it just looks exactly like the area that I was in Colombia. And so it's just had a special meaning to me, this county. And what I've learned in politics is that, as a county supervisor and a state legislator and a Congress member, is that this county is surrounded by incredibly all these urban pressures. You're the most rural, and in fact, in politics, you never get your county cut up into pieces like you're now doing in Santa Cruz and Monterey County in these new districts, because you're so small. I think you only have a population of about 55,000 people. And what you see is that the pressures on these counties on your sides are all spilling over in here. What they can't do there, they come and do here. Because what you don't have here in Monterey and Santa Cruz County is sort of an appellate process for bad decisions. In those counties, the cities and the counties and special districts in the coastal zone have to develop what they call a local coastal plan, which is the state sets out all these sort of goals that your plan has to address, is how you're going to do them. And then you develop that plan according to your planning process, and you can add more. Like in Monterey County, we put in a provision called viewshed protection. I think we're the only county in the United States that in our zoning has viewshed protection, meaning that if you're driving down Highway 1, if you build anything since the Coastal Act's been, you cannot build it in the viewshed. So if you have property and maybe zoned for commercial and we limited the commercial to only 160 rooms, of which 100 have already been claimed. So you can't build your house or structure if you can see it from the road. And so those are kinds of really strong open space protections that are in law. So when you make a bad decision in those counties or cities, you can appeal it to the Coastal Commission. And oftentimes, big development particularly, gets appealed to the Coastal Commission and they deny it. It's not that the big development goes away, it's they go back and try to figure, okay, how do we plan this to meet the approval of the Coastal Commission, all the requirements there, that the county didn't do a good job or the city didn't do a good job in planning that development. You don't have that in San Benito County. You don't have any appellate process. You don't have any second choice. Look at it again. Measure Q gives you that. And as a rural county, that's about the only tool you can have in law, where you turn it over and say, hey, our appellate process is going to be this community. You'll know, and I know, because I've seen it in the process, and I have a whole story about how Pebble Beach spent millions of dollars doing this big plan and even got the votes on the Coastal Commission to approve it, but then they never got to hear it because the county had not followed procedural grounds to get the measure before the Coastal Commission, so the commission was told you don't have jurisdiction, you can't vote on it, and killed this multi-million-dollar project. Peter Ruberoff, chair of that, went back to Peter Douglas, head of the Coastal Commission, and said, what can I do? I'm a businessman. What do I do? And he said, you got to cut out that golf course. You were going to cut down all those trees, and even if you gotten the permit, we would have sued you. And the Sierra Club would have sued you. They would have won, because this is the seed corn of Monterey pine. Even though it's the most grown tree all over the world, this is the mother birthplace of the Monterey pine, and you just can't cut all those thousands of trees down for a golf course. But if you sort of do the other things, we can approve it. He went back, put the plan before the county approved it, went before the Coastal Commission approved it. I mean, there was just no argument because they'd gone back and done it again and done it right. So if you have Measure Q, you will have the ability to make sure that they do it right. And it holds the electeds, knowing that you have that process, it holds them accountable when they're making the decisions. They're going to have to be better and ask better questions and go deeper into issues so that the project really does meet what you in the community feel is logical. And you know, in this whole idea of building Mount Basura here, I prefer that we would advertise Mount Fremont Peak rather than Mount Basura. And that's again an example of what happens when these counties have tough restrictions, and nobody wants to increase a landfill in Santa Clara County or in Monterey County or in Santa Cruz, and really don't have the authority to do it. So what they want to do is find some place where they can export their garbage, and they take advantage of a rural county nearby, coming in saying, well, we'll give you some money, we'll build some roads, we'll put some money into this, and we'll have a really great modern land dump. But do you really want all those trucks? And why should you be paying for, you're paying too, why should you be paying for garbage coming from other areas? So, you know, it's just, that's the kind of decision that I think what happens in politics is that you, the proponents of a project that have a lot of money, they know how to lobby, and they know how to talk to you and show you what all the benefits are. And for a city or a county, the benefits are the revenues more than anything else. Because every city manager and county administrator, what they want to do is have a little bit more money in the budget because there's so many demands on that budget to do things, and they never have enough money, we can't do it. Well, here we got a way to pay for it. We have a pay for it. We'll allow this development to come in, and the development fees will give us some more money or whatever they put on there. But they don't think, those managers, because they're thinking fiscally, not aesthetically. And I think what this county has to sell is aesthetics. I think the future of California is all about the rural areas, the preserving the rural areas. I mean, the Chinese are, I did a lot of stuff on tourism because I represented, you know, in your county too, we're trying to get tourism. I think the park was one of my projects to bring tourists to this county. But we found out with the Chinese coming here, the nouveau riche in China, there are a lot of them, they love coming to California. They don't want to see San Francisco and Los Angeles and San Diego. They want to see rural parts because they don't have a lot of rural land that's available or beautiful. And they're really interested in you know, sort of getting into particular Western gear and things like that, buying that. And so there's a whole difference between sort of the Japanese tourist culture, which is repetitive and does go to all those places along the coast, and more lineal and more structured. So again, I think that we want to appeal to where the tourism market's coming, and I'm on a board in Salinas to try to help promote the Salinas Valley, because when we advertise, come visit the Central Coast, what we're really doing is selling the coastline. You know, selling Boardwalk in Santa Cruz, selling Elkhorn Slough and the Slough Safari and the Phil's Fish Market and sort of the aesthetics of that thing. And then you run over to Monterey and you got to see the aquarium and see Cannery Row. And after that, drive around 17-mile drive, visit this cute little community called Carmel, and then go see the Big Sur Coast. That's what the that's what the tourists are told. They're not told to come over in these mountains. And what I found when we developed the national park, because I'd heard this from other communities, particularly Mariposa, because Mariposa is an unincorporated city, but it's the gateway to Yosemite. And the town said that we couldn't exist without Yosemite. Everything that we do in this town is based on Yosemite. And it's what they call gateway cities. And I thought, well, if we create the pinnacles, we've got Hollister, San Benito, San Juan Bautista somewhat, and certainly on the other side, Soledad. Soledad grabbed it. The mayor of Soledad came to me many years before the park, and he said, Sam, our town's dying. We don't have any spirit of growth here. And what I found when I was chair of the local government committee is that every city wanted Google to move their corporate headquarters to Soledad. You know, that's not going to happen. I said, it's not going to happen. You're going to take advantage of what you have. You have a mission on one side of you. You have freeway going right through the middle of you. All those thousands of cars, millions of cars. You've got the pinnacles on the other side. You've got this wind that now they're taking, and they have this wind and wine festival where they fly kites because the wind's always blowing, and they do that. And so they picked up on it. I said, Pinnacles could be the gate. You could be the gateway city. The day after the bill was signed, they put up a sign on the road saying gateway to the Pinnacles. And so I think that, and I don't know now which side gets the most visitors. You don't have any camping on the what they call the west side, but people are going there. And Soledad was telling me, my God, we have people coming here now wanting to invest in building hotels and building restaurants. They want to use us as a gateway city. We think we have a great potential. So I think, you know, you have places like that. I mean, this breakfast this morning, I was thinking, I went to a doctor yesterday. I said, I need to really get seriously about diet. And he said, yeah, way long overdue. But it's interesting. He said, Sam, he said, the whole structure of how we eat is wrong. You've got to reverse it. He said, your biggest meal needs to be breakfast because you're going to burn it off. Right. And your second meal can be lunch. And he said, but your smallest meal, and he said, you should just have some grass-fed beef. I said, organic, and he said, well, preferred, and a salad or soup. He said, the lightest meal you ought to have in the day is dinner. So I said, well, I have addictions to things like ice cream. He said, have it for breakfast. So when I came here this morning, thinking about what he was saying yesterday, that this is it. This is the greatest breakfast in California. And thank you for hosting us here at this wonderful organic farm. You know, I carried the organic legislation to allow organic to be legal, I mean to be enforced. And I'm really proud of that. It's just fun to see. So I see this advertising against Measure Q, and I can't believe it. And I think the only way to try to, the best measure against it is just expose the money and where it's coming from. I mean, why would all these people who don't even live here have no vested interest in the future of how this place feels or looks? Wants to spend all their money here because they know they can take it out. They're not going to put it in here. It was interesting going back on that Peter Uberoff when I was talking to him, when I said to him, he put together a group of people and they just bought Pebble Beach for $500 million. And I was worried because I thought, how are they going to get a return on their investment? Well, the first thing Peter did, he said, all of my investors were all very wealthy people. He said, I required that they have to have a house in Pebble Beach. Because we're not here for the short term. We're not flipping this. We're here permanently. And I said, well, how can you make a lot of money then? He said, well, we've done a survey and marketing survey, and the Pebble Beach logo has the highest rating in the country of any kind of private logo. Environmental, kind of like environmental. He says, so we're going to sell our logo. We're going to put it on clothes. We're going to put it on golf stuff. We're going to sell the concept of Pebble Beach. And with the real estate, we're actually going to downsize houses because people come here because it's really green. And if we sell all our lots, it's going to be less green. And we don't really need to make that much money. We don't when we get a sale in it. And besides that, when people move here and spend a lot of money on a lot, building a multi-million-dollar house, what the first thing they do is they oppose anything the company wants to do because they all become NIMBYs. And he said, so we don't need to sell that real estate. We can make more money off rentals. We're going to rent the golf courses, the hotels, the beach clubs, the tennis courts, the horseback riding. It's all about rental and selling in the stores. And we don't need to do real estate development to make money. We are going to try to preserve Pebble Beach and put a lot of that land that was going to be for housing, we're going to put it into environmental trusts so it can never be built on. So that, and I use that because I also was involved in the whole changeover of Fort Ord, and it was the biggest. I mean, it's been about 12 years in Congress just working on Fort Ord issues. And the cities of Seaside and Marina just couldn't wait to get a hold of that real estate to do massive development. And their development is the highest and best use was another taco stand, because we'll get sales tax from it. Where Pebble Beach was saying, that's not the future. It's not about more shopping centers. And that was many years ago. I think Amazon's already proved that shopping centers are going to die. And yesterday we have a company in Marina called Joby. Man, go out and look at that stock. It's actually in production for a electric aircraft that'll be a taxi. And they're going to model it in New York and some of the big urban areas, but it's all being built here locally. But the whole future is that they're going to do this very quiet, almost a drone type building, can carry 5 passengers, and they can pick you up almost anywhere, probably right here, and take you for 200 miles anywhere you want to go. So, you know, the future is really dramatically changing. And as I see San Benito County, if you can hold on to your cultural, rural environment, it's going to sell. You got to promote it, and I think you, frankly, in my opinion, do a lousy job of getting tourists. You ought to be able to pull the tourists out of Monterey and out of Santa Cruz and say, hey, if you're going to go over to Santa Cruz a day, how about coming over here? We got a lot of organic farms. We got San Juan Bautista. We could sell food and San Juan. We just advertise that we have the best breakfast in all of California. So come every Sunday to San Juan Bautista, something like that. I mean, there's just tons of ideas that you have, but you're not going to be able to keep them if this county gets urbanized. Ansel Adams told me, he said they want to fill the countryside with urban acne. And it seems to me that what they've done with these building nodes is massive urban acne, that it's going to kill the look and feel of San Benito County. So I'm here to help you in any way I can. And I just want to conclude by saying, Ignacio, your mayor, and I have become good friends. There was a time when we weren't such good friends because he ran against me for Congress. He's a Republican and I'm a Democrat. And yet we both really appreciate each other's sort of professional learning and growth in our positions. And we've been mutually supportive of each other, and I really think that as long as you have Roland and Ignacio on the council, because the council is going to determine the growth boundaries of Hollister. Yeah. And frankly, if you want to get investment in Hollister, put an urban limit line on there and say, look, for the next 10 years, you're going to have to build inside that line. And what that does is it takes underutilized lots, it takes rundown areas, they get investment. So you don't have to worry about urban renewal. The private sector will invest in those ugly things and try to improve them and make it, if that's the only game in town. So I'm a big fan of their support for, you know, not sprawl and I don't know if they're going to do urban limit lines, but I hope they do. Anyway, your county is special, but the only people that can keep it special are the voters. And you got a chance. Good luck. Oh, that's where I came from.
I was San Farr's delegate for 26 years, so we go way back. And we did a lot of things together with immigration projects, and Sam has always been compassionate, and I think he's a compassionate person just like his father was, and he was in the Peace Corps in South America. And he loves Colombia, and he's well known there. So thank you, Sam, for always supporting us and being here. I want to say, where did Kathy go? Catherine Foster. Catherine Foster.
Call her.
Catherine. No, I just want to say, Catherine, I wanted to introduce Catherine and Phil. He's not here?
He might
go
have
to work.
He had to go.
Yeah, go to work.
But come here, Catherine.
He was here a little while ago.
He was here for a bit.
You know, we really want to thank Catherine because she has a lot of fundraisers here. And Catherine, you know, all week she cleaned and put flowers and, I mean,
For the first time in years.
And she retired this year, so she's enjoying it. But Catherine, we really appreciate everything that you and Phil do and giving us the produce. We cooked all our casseroles. We named one casserole Pinnacle's.
Pinnacle gas.
Yeah, casserole, because we put all her veggies in there. But thank you, Catherine, for everything, for all your work. And
Well, no, thank all of you, because, you know, what we have here is only going to be possible, you know, if we're successful. And what it looks like to me is our common mission, you know, to preserve this. So I thank you, because I feel like you're here helping us, helping me personally almost, you know, to be able to continue this, and the Morrises too. I think we feel like, you know, you're supporting us,
Yeah.
personally as well as, anyway.
Catherine just retired from the high school, is Dr. Foster, yes. And so, and she has an excellent reputation as being the best teacher for the kids.
And the only one anatomy teacher, the best anatomy teacher, and the only one that's ever tried it.
For those of you who haven't seen it, Catherine did a really terrific video, so please see it. It's Protect San Benito on our Facebook, and we've been boosting it, so please share it out. We have a video also of Sam, and Margaret's going to have one in Spanish that we're posting soon. But I want to take this time to introduce Sam Earnshaw. We coincidentally have the same Measure Q, and this is for Watsonville. Sam will tell you more about it, but my understanding is they did an initiative, urban growth boundary initiative, very similar to ours before the city of Watsonville, I think over 20 years ago, and they're campaigning again because they're renewing it. But I'm really happy to say it's also a yes on Q.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary and
You have to
Sam.
hold it really
And,
close, hold it close to your mouth.
okay, and his reference to urban limit lines is just exactly what we're working on over there. Like we have three things in common, and we're working to preserve farmland, we're working to stop sprawl and plant growth, and the letter Q. It's just a coincidence that Q is the thing, except when I'm driving back over there, I see all these no on Q signs, and that's not our Q, that's your Q. But there's a lot of S on Qs. Anyhow, in 1978, Measure J was passed over in Santa Cruz County. Gary Patton worked on it, and it classified our CA ag lands. So Santa Cruz County actually has some of the best ag land protection in the country. But nevertheless, the supervisors and the city council people are always trying to break that, and that's what happened in 1998. The city of Watsonville tried to annex 1,000 acres, and 200 acres along Riverside Drive and 640 acres on the other side. And the community came together. We formed a thing called Action Pajaro Valley, and it was a 2 or 3 year process. They hired people to come down and have the meetings, community meetings, and out of that came Measure U, which was passed in 2002, and it had basically it had two sunset dates, 2022 and 2025. It's a little confusing, but part of it is going to expire this coming November. So some of us got together 4 years ago and started thinking ahead, and we decided the best strategy was just extend the timeline, because there were still vacant properties within the city, and that's kind of our biggest argument is, why take this farmland when you've got all these vacant lands to build on? And we did the thing, we went out and collected 3,000 signatures. It was almost a year effort, knocking on doors, well, 6 months. We started in July and had to turn them in December. But it was really interesting because people really responded. We had this handout here where we say this is the boundary that's going to expire, and we just say as long as there's vacancies in the city, let's keep building on that. And people really respond to that. And also, we don't want to turn it into San Jose. the city council, we've gone through everything, the same kind of political stuff that was different from what you have, but nevertheless, it was the same. And we had the city council basically not supporting us. And they put on they put on a conflicting measure. It's called Measure S. You know, the only good thing about it is S is for sprawl. So, so we got to fight, but they're having a hard time raising money against it, and so you don't see a lot of their signs around, and we're hoping that the voters won't be confused. But what they did was they took our language, put it on there, and added stuff like, oh, we can have parks and housing for seniors and all this good stuff. They wrote the language for ours, which is this really boring thing, like ours is to amend the general plan, you know what I mean? But we're hoping people will see beyond it, because right inside their ballot measure language it says, yeah, we're going to extend the measure union line except the city council at any time can identify property to build on. So it's anyhow. So, and then we have a couple of good things. We have a supervisor contest going on, and one of the supervisor contestants, Felipe Hernandez, is for us. He's got our logo on his handouts. And you know, some of the arguments and things we've been getting letters in the paper. We're really working hard to get letters and op-eds and things, and we've had a good run on it and getting up, especially up to now. And we had Greenbelt Alliance actually help us a little bit on this, just very informally. But I would call them up, and they sent us. One of the things they sent was this list of 54 of the cities and jurisdictions in the Bay Area and the Central Coast down here that have done exactly what we want to do, and that's renew our urban limit line. So that's kind of helped us, and they also, we've taken people on tours of the vacant lands and everything. So I think what Sam mentioned, the urban limit line, you know, working with people and getting that going is really, it gives us a lot of power in what we're doing, and a lot of strength. You know, all we're trying to do is renew something that we think has worked, you know, and so I think that's about all I have to say. It's exciting to see what you guys are doing. We really hope our best that Q prevails. Onward with Q. And,
So I've been asked to remind people that we are still in the midst of our battle here, that we really appreciate everybody who made food and everybody who came and made donations, but the biggest donation that you can make is to reach out to everybody you know and explain, because the other side has made their campaign about fear and confusion. They're trying to get folks, and one of the supervisors literally said after launching a campaign to try to confuse people as much as possible, if you're confused, you should vote no. You know? Which, to me, I can't think of a more unethical thing to do as a former person who taught government. Instead of asking people to do their research or learn more or ask. So that's a sign of what we're up against, is folks who I think don't respect the voters of our county. We do. We believe the people of our county will make good decisions about our future, and we've talked to thousands of folks. We also collected signatures. We needed 2,060. I think we collected 4,100 something signatures. So a lot of people have been involved in this and know about it, and they're talking about it, and they have seen the signs, but the signs are ridiculous. Like, no taxes, no on cue. No traffic, no on cue. No pedophiles, no on cue. I mean, it's like, no more halitosis, no on cue. That's the kind of campaign we're up against, but it's easy to explain to people what we're doing here. We're giving you the ability to make decisions about these big developments that are going out on the farm and rangeland. Do you want the county covered with these giant developments of any kind? And most people, I can tell you, don't in this county. We've talked to lots of folks. So if you reach out to the people you know, the folks that trust you the most, they will come on board and ask them to spread the word. But we also need folks to go a step further. We need to get get more of our yard signs up in your neighborhoods. Talk to your friends and get them up, because that creates a sense of momentum, especially when they're on people's yards that they know. So we have signs around, get those up. We need folks to, whether they go and knock on doors in their neighborhood or whether they come out to the stores. We found we've had very good luck. You know, we've been out at the post office. Mary Zanger's been out at the Hollister post office. Others have been at the San Juan post office. We've been out Nob Hill and Safeway and Target and Ace Hardware.
Honk and wave.
And we've had honk and waves, but talking to people and just asking them, holding a sign, having a little bit of our literature. What do you know about Measure Q? Do you have any questions? And it really makes a difference. And then ask them when they say, oh yeah, I'm for that. Well, please spread the word. Make sure everybody in your family votes, because a lot of people will not vote in this election. But on this one issue, almost everybody in this county is upset about the pace of growth and the traffic. Tell them, you don't have to vote on all the other issues. Pick 2 or 3 issues, or even 1. You know, pick the candidates who support slowing down the growth if you live inside the city. Vote for Roland, vote for Ignacio. If you happen to be in Dom's district, vote for Dom Zanger. So support the candidates who support slowing down the growth. But if all they want to do is try to, is be concerned about their local area, then have them vote on the issue of Q. And get their friends and family to do it. That's simple. So that's what we need from folks right now. If everybody can pledge to do that, Mary's got a sign-up sheet for folks who might want to help out, do some canvassing. It will make all the difference in this campaign. People are ready to come over to our side, and they get angry when they figure out that somebody is trying to confuse them and scare them into voting against something that will benefit them. And that will help us. We feel like the momentum is going in our direction. We just have to keep that momentum going. So thank you all.
Thank you. So I think it's actually really important to stress the last part, which is that we really do need a final push. We only have about 2.5 weeks or so left. And so we need as many people as possible, even if you can afford one afternoon or a few hours to canvass. If it's during the day, we're doing it in front of stores. We actually will be also helping the slow growth candidates. We're going to make a brochure and hand out that. But we need to get Measure Q under control because there's so much misinformation. So it's really critical right now. Some of us are going out every day. I wanted to acknowledge Ramon here, who is coming here from Santa Cruz every day to help us. He also helped us in Measure J and Z. Anyway.
I'll just tell you.
And K and N. Yeah, go ahead.
You guys say it all the time. Dude, it's fun. It's actually fun. When you talk to people and they give you crap or whatever, and it's sort of like, you nod at somebody and they give you guys walk out all the day, now so you go, Dom, this. You walk out, people give you a bunch of crap, you go, yeah, it's really hard out there, isn't it? It'd be really great if we could do something, isn't it? Gosh, there's this thing called Measure Q. We could actually do something that's direct, that doesn't involve, electing somebody. In fact, you're electing yourself. And they kind of go,
You're electing yourself.
You can do that? It's like, yeah. It's called, the ballot initiative process. It's right here. You can read it. And Mary and Andy have taught me how simply it is to just present the fact that people have the ability to actually choose for themselves. And, and people said, are you Democrat or Republican? I said, I don't care. I'm an independent, but I don't care what I am. And I talked, I voted for Trump. And I said, yeah, it's tough. It was really tough on him. But right here, we have something that's actually saying, you're the most powerful, strongest, most able citizen where you live. Literally, here is the most important place. You could possibly decide anything in that county. They can't argue against that. It's like, yeah, just do it. So I think we have fun. Sometimes it's a little depressing, and that's what the caffeine's for. But because we kind of just like, oh, dude, this is fucked. I can't. I'm done. But then you walk back out, even driving, I drive here from Santa Cruz. And I'm driving, I'm like, and you know how it is like when you gotta go to work, and you're like, the last thing you wanna think of is going to work. But once you get there and you see the people and you smell the coffee and you start doing it, then you start feeling like, yeah, this is actually cool, this is fun. And I think there's nothing more fun than saying, people talk about building community, it's like, dude, this is it. There's nothing magic about this. People cook food, they get together, and you just do it.
That's great. Yeah, building community. So thank you so much. And some of you are also canvassing for Dom, for example. We should help the mayor. We have a terrible candidate running against him who's supported by the developers. I don't know if you want to say a few words, or I also want to give Joanne, I'm sorry, Joanne, I wasn't sure you were going to speak, but I'm going to give Joanne a chance to talk after you.
Yeah, let me say a couple words. First, Mr. Farr. Sam.
Who's he?
It's true. It's true. I ran against Sam Farr. In my defense, I was young and naive. Kind of like that teenager that thinks his parents don't know anything, and they hit the 20s and they say, "Dad, Mom, how did you get to be so smart?" Sam Farr, I idolize now, and I can tell you, when I became mayor and he opened that park, I was stunned. I really was, and I realized at that moment that this is a man that really does care about our community. Really does. And I can't thank him enough for everything he's done. And I'm going to tell a real quick story about the airline highway. You were asking that question. Because when Sam Farr created this national park, he's right, Soledad, they jumped all over it. Gateway, and we were on our side moving to, we're going to redo this and rename Airline Highway Pinnacle National Highway.
Yeah.
Wow, that went down quickly. Everybody fought right away. How dare you take away Airline Highway? That's a historical name. We don't want it to be Pinnacle National Park Highway. I was like, what?
Yeah, right.
So I went back and I did a little research because people say it's been named Airline Highway forever because that's what pilots used to use in the old days to guide them to LA. And I thought, okay, something's not right here. I looked into this. It turned out that what it was a bus line that went from San Francisco to LA to take passengers from San Francisco to LA. That was the route. It was called an Airline Highway. That's where it came. Nothing historical. In that journey, I also found a picture of a ribbon cutting with scissors that said Pinnacle Highway.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thinking that happens here. I do also want to say, I'm not registered Republican. I'm actually no political party. And when I became mayor, I learned really quick. I don't belong to this party. I don't belong to that party. I belong to the people.
Right.
And that's my role. So it's very important. And it's very important, if you guys haven't seen, there's posters of me all over the place now with the wanted, reward developers, have this man arrested. They're spending big, big dollars because I'm using my voice, the bully pulpit, to warn people that these developers will take over our community.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen before. Sam Farr is correct. They'll pave over this whole thing, and people don't come to see subdivisions. That's not what they go visit. We've lost a lot of beautiful things in our community already because of the greed. But we're lucky to have people like all of you that are willing to stand up and fight. I don't care how many shots they take at me. I really don't care. People always ask me, how do you do that? How do you put up with all of this? Doesn't faze me in the least. I go do my thing. I go home, have dinner with my family, and do it again the next day. And I'm lucky because I have a council member, Roland Resendez, that finally I have somebody backing me up a bit. And I see Dom Zanger also. I know you're all there because I get those messages of, don't listen to those mean people. We're supporting you. But you know what? we do have to get more vocal. We do. When they send those attacks, we need to step up and say, you know what? You're wrong. He's right. We need to protect our community. That's how we win against bullies. You know, we have these big campaigns, stop the bullying, and yet when they're doing it, we're allowing it, right? So let's get out there. Matter of fact, I think after this event, I'm going to go do another one of my videos at the site and talk about how they're going to create more traffic. They're going to create more problems for our community, because that's what's going to happen. They're putting signs out, Math 101. Well, they don't even know what 2 plus 2 means. They talked about 5,000 high-paying jobs. A little research tells you 90% of those jobs are low-paying.
Right.
They talk about there's no traffic on on Highway 25 and 156 because it's going to be on 101. Well, Lordy, how do you get to 101? How about those thousands of trucks that have to come from Highway 5 down 25 to 101? That's wear and tear. They talk about a high-tech center. Well, their studies showed it's all make-believe. The study showed it. The third-party independent said this is just make-believe. It's not even real. They talked about millions and millions and millions of dollars in revenue to the county. Guess what? The study comes back and says, well, it's actually about 1 million. Well, those that don't know math and don't know what 2 plus 2 is, don't realize that that 1 million might sound good to a few people until you build that fire department that costs you $4 million to run each year. 2 to 3 more officers that cost you another $300,000 to $400,000. Maintenance of the roads that cost you another $1 million. Pretty soon you're in the hole. And I know this because when I first became mayor, the city of Hollister was near bankruptcy. And I started asking the questions, the hard questions. And nobody knew the answer because nobody knew the math. But once we understood the math, we paid down debt rapidly and started reinvesting in our community. And at that point, I realized it's not about endless growth and sprawl. It's about protecting the beauty we have and all the great things that can come with it. But we all needed to do it together and stand with each other. So please, get those signs up, stand up, speak against those people that are attacking you. We can do this. And when we do, we're going to be that place in 5 or 10, 20 years where people around the world from China are going to say they want to visit, because that's how beautiful it is. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for that breakfast.
Maybe you should be a minister. I want to thank Andy and Mary. You know, what I like about Andy and Mary is we're all involved. You know, she doesn't do all the mailers. We get together, give each other ideas. Also, the commercials that we did on TV or what is it, on Facebook. All of us.
Oh, the movie theater.
Oh, the movie thing.
Elvia's idea.
Oh, Alvia's idea, and then your son put the whole video together. Yeah, so we always meet at my house. We have our meetings there. I just want to thank Andy and Mary because they give a lot of time. They work super.
I wanted just before people start leaving to acknowledge in our last mailer, it was a really important mailer for a lot of people because they wanted to know who is supporting Measure Q. And many of you who we feature are here. I wanted to call out, again, Catherine and Phil Foster. I think I had several people when I was canvassing say, oh yeah, and because of them I'm going to vote for this because they're so respected in our community. This is probably the most famous organic farm in our county, perhaps the most important organic farm. So thank you, Catherine and Phil. We also have Randall Graham. He was in, I think, the hospital or something, but he told Andy we could use his name for the, I don't know if you know him, he has a Popolucha wine vineyard out here. He actually operates a winery, Bonnie Dune, in Santa Cruz, but he's here often. And Jose Ornelas of J Leaf, That's also organic. And Joe Morris of Morris Grassfed. Joe here. I had several people say, I'm really impressed that you got Joe Morris. So he's very respected in our community. We also want to thank, we have some Alba farmers who are busy. Maria Catalan and Carlina Garribe. There's big supporters. And he couldn't make it today, but Val Lopez, chairman of the Amah Mutsun tribal band. He's fighting Eurostock right now in development. But Eurostock, a lot of people don't know, extends into Santa Cruz, Betabel, and Highway 129 area, follows the rivers. We also have the endorsement by the Sierra Club, the local chapter in the Audubon, Coach Kuko, and I wanted to call out Lynn Mello, she's still here, former president of the Romas Grange, and quite a few teachers. I don't want to read all the names, but they're really the backbone, a lot of our retired teachers of this group. So I wanted to acknowledge their great help. Thank you for being patient, Joanne. I wanted to introduce Joanne, who is also from the Yes on Q from Watsonville and has been doing a lot to protect farmland for many years.
Thank you. I work with the Wild Farm Alliance, and we've been helping Pinnacle farm here on and off for years. And they're just an amazing farm. They're so well liked here in the community. You all are such an amazing community. And you know, it's not just us people, though. It's all kinds of organisms that live here. And they're not going to be here if this turns into urbanization. I mean, this farm has, as you drive in, you drive next to a hedgerow. There's another hedgerow on this side, and both connect to the San Benito River. There's a lot of wildlife coming down this river, all kinds of wildlife. You know, you hear about wolves in Yellowstone and how important they are, that the ecological stair steps that start to happen when you have a high predator, a top predator there. Well, our mountain lions are really important too, because they are taking care of all the deer that could overpopulate. And instead of driving by these lettuce farms where they're not all fenced, it could be full of deer, right? So we need to protect our corridors for mountain lions. Mountain lions that also help to keep down the mesopredators, predators like coyotes and bobcats and foxes that could overeat our beneficial birds, birds that help with pest control. And we've helped the Fosters put up 15 songbird nest boxes, and Catherine and I will go out and check them. It is so delightful to see the nestlings in the spring, bluebirds and tree swallows, and these hedgerows too, and some of the riparian area helped restore. They support beneficial birds, but also beneficial insects that are so important to the farm to help control the pests that would otherwise get sprayed, you know, if it was a conventional farm. And not to say that maybe they don't use a spray once in a while, but it would be an organically approved spray, and something that's safe for us, for the wildlife, and for the community. And so you guys rock. I am married to Sam Earnshaw, and we're, you know, over in Watsonville, we're one of the headquarters for Measure Q, and so the phone is always ringing, and there's, you know, all these people working really hard. But I'm super impressed by what you all are doing here to preserve farmland and to preserve the wild and human communities that exist in this rural landscape.
Thank you so much. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think there's something guiding us that we're both Measure Qs. I want to give, if anyone who's a candidate for office, I don't know if Dom or Rolling want to say just a few words. Thank you so much. While they're walking up here, I do want to emphasize, please come up to me, or I'll go around. We need more people handing out these flyers. And thank you to people like Bridget, Larry, we have quite a few people canvassing, but we actually really need more.
Don't
So
forget the
here's,
signs. the
oh
signs.
yes, and we also have lots of signs, so please take them because I put in my credit card. We don't want any to go to waste. So Dom, would you like to say a few words and then Roland?
All right. First of all, give me another round of applause for everyone that put this together. This is great. Thank you. Thank you. So my name is Dom Zanger. I'm running for County Supervisor in District 1. And I don't have much to say. I'll keep it short. But for those of you that don't know me, my family started a business here called Casa de Fruta. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. We've been farming for a long time, and we want to keep farming. So that's why I support Measure Q. Primarily for two reasons. One, it will effectively preserve the rural land in this county. And that's important. It's important to the character, the culture, and the industry that we have here. And two, it sends a message to the Board of Supervisors that we are done being ignored. The people are done being ignored. We want to say in how the county grows, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Q will pass, and the people will have a say in how the county grows moving forward, and that's important. And I've said it before, and I'll just say it again because it bears repeating, that there was a great political philosopher of the 20th century, and he said that history is often made by a small group of highly motivated individuals. And that's what we have here. So let's finish strong, let's do the work and make it happen. Thank you.
All right, I don't want to take up too much of your time either. My name is Roland Resendez. I'm the current city councilman for the city of Hollister, representing District 2. About 4 years ago, I was elected into office because of my stand on development, because how concerned I was about how much control special interests had over our local politicians and how they were looking out for their own interests and not necessarily those of the people that we represent. Therefore, I won against somebody who was very well respected, but unfortunately she was on the wrong side of the issue, and I won by a great, great percentage. I'm very proud and very humbled to be the city councilman to represent you. I'm looking forward to continuing to represent you. I think that what Congressman Farr had said is very, very vital, and I just want to leave you with that. Measure Q is going to help us to protect us from overdeveloping the county. If we do not have like-minded individuals such as myself and the mayor fighting for your interests, they can annex in land. They can grow past natural boundaries. So we really, really, really need people like myself, people like Ignacio, and other like-minded individuals representing your interests on the city council, continuing to fight for your needs on the city council, so that we can keep doing the work that we're doing and that we can grow in a responsible manner. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you being here, and I'm looking forward to finishing strong with you all.
Thank you very much. And did anyone else want to make any announcement or anything? Just want to give you a chance before we wind up. Some of us are actually going to go out canvassing, and so I wanted to not take up too much of your time today, and I really do want to emphasize that this is quite a winnable campaign, but I am concerned in that the other side is, in fact, they have a fundraiser right now, or coming up soon, Eden Rift. The Chamber of Commerce is sponsoring it. So they're doing a lot to misinform people, so we really need everyone's help. Even if you can do one afternoon of, say, standing in front of these stores, we'll train you. It's very effective, and then in the evenings, a lot of times people are not home, so going door to door is not productive until the evening. But we are also going to be helping some of our candidates that are trying to control growth, like Ignacio, Roland, and Dom. So please come up to me. I have a lot of flyers here. We have a lot of signs. If you could put up a few signs or get them up with your friends' homes, and neighbors, that would be really appreciated. I want to thank again Catherine and Phil for hosting this beautiful event. This is a really special place, and we really want to preserve places like this. Thank you, Sam, for coming.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Sam. And also, thank you to our musicians, David. I don't know if you want to say anything. David Huboi and Rudy and
Salcido and Ivan.
Thank you so much for sharing your music with us.
Just happy to be here. It was great last time we were here, and support a good cause, and it's just a beautiful setting for the Yes on Measure Q people. I appreciate the invitation, and we're having a great time, and we'll send you off to continue your campaign with some more music.
Yes, and then I made I couldn't get that one.
Sun would shine, Susan see sunny one thank you for the truth that you made me see. Thank you for the smile, the party and place that you gave to me. And I'll sit here getting caught. Sunny one, two, thank you for the facts that you didn't see. Thank you for the truth from ABC. My eye was warm with old side. A rock was home when the weekend night. Thank you for the smile on your face. Thank you for the gift of sweet grace. You're my one, just mine. You're my one, can please I am.
When you said they were
all that with love that sets free. The look in your eyes, sound of your voice, just all you and all that precious, precious time won't look back, you
How's everybody doing today? Good to be back at Pinnacle Farms. I'm David Huboi. This is the David Huboi diagram for today.
Every time that you go walking by, so don't you notice me that you made me high, so high. But when you're not around, I feel like a clown. Hey girl, 'cause I need to be high. So high. You're right here with me. Don't you ever see me feel as high as I can be. You gotta be high. So high. And I'm glad All you need is faith. Open doors for life. All you got to do is thank people be brave. There's a train coming down, picking up people close to the road. All you need is faith. Open doors and fire. All you got to do is to thank the Lord.
By Johnny Rivers, called The Poor Side of Town.
They don't have any copies.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Carl will be back. Carl will maybe the numbers don't work as what it was, and this is what a lot of people are going back and forth. They set up that amount to do that. The commercial amount is you got a commercial rate.
Oh, that's fine,
oil
Cleaning up. Are you? I was going to ask both of you.
I just want to get a picture.
Go ahead.
go spend time with my husband.
The ball field, the bureau.
He's out visiting his aliens.
It's right north
of was San Jose
Oh, the road.
yeah, Bailey Road.
I know Bailey Road.
Everybody else is kind of right around saying that ball field because no, it's a huge organization. They haven't been out of it. So it's a little bit.
I mentioned that there's a yes on
Say that you're sorry. Why should I care? What you do if you're trying to find
Yeah, they're bribing a lot, but so